Srinagar, young man named Junaid Qureshi, who is a writer, a human rights defender, and representative of JKDLP in Europe. Junaid Saab, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished guests, I am a Kashmiri Muslim from the Valley of Kashmir. However, I am perfectly aware of the fact that Jammu and Kashmir comprises more than the valley. I am also aware of the fact that it does not only belong to the Muslims living there or elsewhere in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. While being concerned about the injustice and human rights violations in the Valley of Kashmir, I as a Kashmiri am equally worried about the fate of the Kashmiris living in Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan-administrated Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh. Irrespective of our different religions, caste, creed or color, we all are state subjects of Jammu and Kashmir and thus equal stakeholders. The Kashmir issue, along with its many interrelated layers like proxy warfare, political and historical sensitivities, and the contention over water resources, has been the biggest threat to peace and development in South Asia. Sadly, we Kashmiris continue to suffer the heaviest losses because of the hostility between India and Pakistan. The proxy war, which was started in the Kashmir Valley in the early 90s by the Pakistani military establishment, while it used innocent Kashmiri youth as cannon fodder, showed the Indian army the way to our homes. Since then, both parties, the militants and the Indian army, have been culpable of excesses and grave human rights violations. Since then, the borrowed gun has only exacerbated the complexities of the already complex Kashmir issue. Complexities which will only aggravate due to the proposed construction of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This corridor will go through Gilgit-Baltistan, which is part of Jammu and Kashmir state. I firmly believe that the construction of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is illegal, as the future status of Jammu and Kashmir still needs to be decided. The construction of this corridor, complemented by the military benefits for both China and Pakistan and an investment of $46 billion, is a threat to regional peace and is aimed at changing the demographics of the actual Kashmir issue and cementing China's stake in Kashmir. Our basic human rights and political liberties are continuously under threat on both sides. Since more than a month, the ongoing shelling and firing across the line of control has killed dozens of Kashmiri civilians and left hundreds of people injured on both sides. Thousands have been made homeless. I fail to understand what is being controlled at the line of control. The controlled destruction of our homes or the controlled killings of our children. Besides being a line of division for us, this bloody line has become a line out of control, either under the pretext of protecting national interest or whenever the nuclear neighbors feel the need to display military might. It is we Kashmiris who have to face the wrath of bombs and guns. Just a few months ago, Mr. Syed Asad was sacked from his job in Pakistan-administrated Kashmir for committing the crime of writing books on the history of Kashmir and publishing a map of undivided Jammu and Kashmir. Bookshops in Mirpur and Muzaffarabad have been closed down, books have been banned, and publishers and writers have been arrested and booked under the National Action Plan of Pakistan, which according to Article 257 of Pakistan's own constitution has no jurisdiction in Pakistan-administrated Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Nationalist Kashmiris in Pakistan-administrated Kashmir who spoke at a seminar where Gilgit-Baltistan was discussed in the light of the Kashmir issue have been arrested, tortured and booked under anti-terrorist acts. Others were also arrested, tortured and booked under the National Action Plan while they wanted to present a memorandum to the United Nations Observer's Office in Gilgit-Baltistan regarding the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The political killing of one of the tallest nationalist leaders of Pakistan-administrated Kashmir, Arif Shahid, remains unsolved since 2013. His killers still carry the epithet of unidentified gunmen. This unidentified gunman is a recurring phenomenon in Indian administrated Kashmir as well. In June this year, this unidentified gunman was responsible for the murder of 6 civilians in Sopore. Sayyid Salahuddin, the head of a militant organization called Hizbul Mujahideen and chief of the United Jihad Council, recently blamed and expelled one of his own men for these killings. Just 4 days ago, this unidentified gunman reappeared again and showed his most barbaric face. Burhan, a small innocent child of 3 years old, was enjoying the softness of his father's lap when he and his father got massacred by this damned, unidentified gunman. The tragic death of Aylan Kurdi woke up the whole world from its oblivious sleep, while the killing of Burhan has not yet been able to dent the conscience of the universal claimants of human rights. I request the human rights defenders present here to help us in identifying this unidentified gunman. Who is he? Who supports him? Who gives him the guns and the bullets to kill our innocent children? I request you to assist us in finding him and stopping him from sacrificing our children for his or his master's nefarious interests. We Kashmiris are fed up with violence. This gun has brought us to the edge of destruction. It has looted us from our dignity and snatched our identity. It has corrupted our pillars of secularism, brotherhood, tolerance, and Kashmiriyat. It must stop before it annihilates our very existence. The Kashmir issue undoubtedly requires a political solution, but first, the people of Kashmir, India, and Pakistan are in urgent need of liberation from fear and uncertainty. I strongly believe that a political solution can only be found when there will be peace. I do not see any reason why basic fundamental human rights like the liberty to live, education, healthcare, employment, and the pursuit of happiness should be kept hostage to the solution of the Kashmir problem. I also believe that such a solution cannot be achieved by imposing political B teams created by occupying forces on us Kashmiris as our so-called representatives. Mere sloganeering, waving flags of terrorist organizations, and unnecessary shutdowns will also not bring us anything. Peace, prosperity, and the future of our children are fundamentals which should be superior to anyone's ideology or stated positions. There is an urgent need to build consensus among Kashmiris regarding our future. Withdrawal of paramilitary forces in both parts of Jammu and Kashmir, revocation of laws like PPO, AFSPA, and PSA, immediate halt to terrorism and religious extremism sponsored by rogue elements in the Pakistani military establishment and extremist religious parties, release of all political prisoners in Indian and Pakistani administrated Kashmir, establishment of judicial inquiry commissions on disappearances and political killings, rejection of violence and displays thereof by all stakeholders without any selectiveness, dispensation of justice and opening up of the borders, rehabilitation of the Kashmiri Pandits according to their wishes, are immediate steps which could provide relief to the Kashmiri people and initiate an atmosphere of tranquility for the next step of institutionalizing intra-Kashmir dialogue amongst all Kashmiris living in the valley, Ladakh, Jammu, Pakistan administrated Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan. Kashmir's exhaustion with violence urges the new and young generation of Kashmir to embark upon a path of reconciliation and harmony. It urges us to meet each other, discuss each other's problems, our wishes, understand our grievances, and together decide what is beneficial for all of us Kashmiris. The United Nations and the international community should facilitate an atmosphere of tranquility, mutual trust, and dialogue between India and Pakistan, which could pave the way for such an institutionalized intra-Kashmir dialogue. At the same time, it must also take steps to ensure that both India and Pakistan will not violate the human rights of Kashmiris and their own inhabitants in order to safeguard their debatable national interests. Both countries, for God's sake, must comprehend that while they are sovereign and independent, in order to ensure peace in South Asia and Kashmir, their very existence has become more interdependent than ever before. Thank you.